There are lots of products and services that the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria offers, which many Nigerians might not be aware of. Some of these products are the National Housing Fund Loan, the Rent-to-Own Loan, the Home Renovation Loan, the Corporate Housing Development Loan, and lots more. So on this episode of FMBN podcast, I will be showing you highlights of the interviews of some of the group heads and the unit head as they educate you about the products and services that the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria offers. And you are watching FMBN podcast here on 7FM TV. My name is Patience Okai, your host. Let's quickly go on a commercial break. And when we come back, the housing facts.
Get trained as a mortgage expert, smart property development industry player. Get that full option capacity training center for your individual or organizational needs. At the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria FMBN Training Center, courses are both technical and managerial in mortgage operations, finance, human resources, and ICT, all facilitated by both internal and external mortgage and property industry experts.
We borrow the money from the bank. Every month we're servicing it.
All FMBN courses are approved by the Center for Management Development. Meanwhile, the FMBN Training Center offers 8 training facilities for rentals, 3 seminar rooms of 30 seating capacities, 2 seminar rooms of 10 and 12 seating capacities, 2 conference halls of 108 and 78 seating capacities, an ICT lab of 38 seats, and a 24/7 power supply. Visit the FMBN Center at number J4 Aliakilu Road, Kaduna. Email training.school@fmbn.gov.ng or call 0901 280 3484.
Okay, welcome back to FMBN Podcast here on 7FM TV, as FMBN Podcast is proudly brought to you by the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. Now, the housing facts. Maybe you're wondering, how do I get to edit my profile details on the FMBN mobile app or the USDD platform? Let me show you how. They can do this through the update form available on the FMBN website or by visiting the nearest branch office for the update. Welcome back to FMBN Podcast here on 7FM TV, as FMBN Podcast is proudly brought to you by the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. Okay, quickly, right on time, let me show you the highlights of some of the interviews I was actually referring to.
Basically, the NHF is established by an Act of the National Assembly. Act 3 of 1992 established the National Housing Fund. And the aims and objectives are as follows. Mobilization of the fund. We mobilize funds. That's what we call NHF funds, for the provision of affordable houses for all Nigerians. So basically what we do is, when we say mobilization of the fund, every Nigerian worker is supposed to contribute 2.5% of his basic income to a pool of fund, which we call the National Housing Fund. So that 2.5% of your basic salary, you will contribute to that NHF. We will now use it now to provide affordable houses for Nigerians. So that's basically, in a nutshell, what the National Housing Fund is all about. To the National Housing Fund, you will come to the bank, although now we are trying to automate our process, which we are going to bring the registration to your doorstep, to your phone, to your computer. But right now what we're doing is, you will come to the bank. There's what we call NHF form. Okay. I think there are 2. There's NHF 1, there's NHF 2 forms. So the NHF 1 form is for the employer. For example, you guys are from 7FM, right?
Yes, sir.
So 7FM as an employer will collect what we call NHF 1 form. They will fill it. All the data, all the requested data, they will fill it. Once they fill it, they're going to submit to us. Then we're going to give them what we call employer number. Then after that, in the form, you state how many staff you have. You will see everything is there. Then after that, after the submission, and we have given you your number, employer number, the employees now, you now tell us maybe you have 10, 20, many number of employees. We're going to give them the form we call NHF 2 form. So once we give you NHF 2 form, that's going to be based on the number of employees that you have in your organizations. They're going to fill that. 2. So from there, we're going to give you those individuals, those employees are going to have what we call NHF numbers. So that completes the process of registration. Once you have been given NHF number, NHF stands for National Housing Fund.
Yes.
Once you have been given the numbers which serve as your identity to us, it's like your normal account number, in commercial bank. So we call it NHF number. Once you have been given that number, it means you have been registered with Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria.
Okay.
Because there is a law that states that you cannot use more than 1/3 of your salary,
Okay.
of your income, to access a loan. So we look at, based on your income, your age, we'll do our affordability matrix, we'll carry out a test. Your repayment must not be more than 1/3 of your salary. So that's what determines affordability. That's what determines how much loan we're going to give you. But the maximum loan you can apply for in Federal Mortgage Bank is 15 million.
50. The Project Finance Group is charged with origination of construction finance for the bank. The bank is looking at financing mortgages for individual National Housing Fund contributors. But on the other hand, we were also concerned about the supply side of the houses. So the bank thought it well to develop a project finance model where the group is in charge of various loan platforms that will develop houses on behalf of the national housing contributors through developers on lending to NHF contributors.
What informed the bank decision for the sectors?
Okay, thank you very much. The bank is looking at the various segments of the workforce and the society. The NHF Act gives the bank the opportunity to actually collect up to 2.5% of the salaries of all Nigerians that are earning up to 3,000 naira per month. So with that, we understand that there is a segregation between the public sector and the private sector. So, and we see that the private sector forms about 80% of the workforce in Nigeria. So the bank was keen on going into the informal sector in order to tap into that and also provide mortgages for them. So as part of the efforts, the bank is, as part of the strategy of the bank is to have innovative products and services. And one of the products that the bank had developed is the cooperative housing development loan. This loan is created to target cooperative societies, both formal and informal. Because we have cooperative societies for formal organizations such as the universities, the hospitals, and lots of government agencies. And on the other hand, we have informal cooperative societies that, people that come together, that, that we know that traditionally we call adache and all that. They come together as a cooperative and they're able to access a loan together. And that cooperative now becomes guarantors for the individual cooperators. So that was the motivation behind what the bank had been able to actually produce.
We have the rent-on product, we have the home renovation loan product, and then we have the Nigeria diaspora mortgage loan product.
Home renovation loan is an initiative that came to limelight when the bank decided to have a wider coverage of the product NHF. You all know that the bank was packaging for NHF over a period of time, but the coverage was not very wide because the NHF was to take up to 15 million, and not many Nigerian workers had such affordability. And so the home renovation loan came into place so that it can have a wider coverage, because the maximum you take for this loan is only 1 million. And so by the time you divide that 15 million for NHF, it will cover 15 people. And this was the reason that brought home renovation into limelight. And the product has covered so much as envisaged from the beginning.
Okay, I hope that helps. With just 2.5% of your monthly income with minimum of 6 months, you don't just stand the chance to apply for the loan, but also to get it. So what are you waiting for? Just come on. Okay, moving forward is FMBN news. But before then, let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back.
To improve transparency and accountability in managing the NHF funds, Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria has introduced Star 219 hash. Star 219 hash is a new way to know the status of your NHF contribution from anywhere. To use this service, dial Star 219 hash. Select 1 to update your contact detail. Press 2 to check your contribution status in any month up to the last 5 years. You can also use our mortgage calculator and bulletin board by selecting options 5 and 6 respectively. You can access other services by using direct shortcodes like Star 219 Star 3 hash to retrieve your NHF number, Star 219 Star 4 Star 1 hash to check your last 5 transactions, and Star 219 Star 4 Star 2 hash to check your statement of account. No internet connection required, and it is available on all networks. Star 219 hash. Simpler, smarter, faster. Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. Everyone deserves a home.
All right, welcome back to FMBN Podcast here on 7FM TV. And as FMBN Podcast is proudly brought to you by the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. So now, FMBN News this week. And that's so much we have for you on this week's edition of FMBN Podcast, proudly brought to you by the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. Do well to join us next week for another educative and informing edition of the program. Of course, do well to follow us on all our social media handles at Instagram 7TV_NIG, Twitter 7TV_NIG, Facebook 7TV Nigeria, YouTube 7FM-TV. You can also visit our website at www.7media.ng, and of course do well to visit www.fmbn.gov.ng for more information. And until I come your way next week, my name is Patience Okai, your host. Stay blessed. Bye.